I'm actually really, I'm honestly, I'm gleaming with excitement and really excited to talk with y'all today about like how a lot of times paths all lead to one place, and you really just gotta trust the process and know that like at some point something's gonna lead you back to where you knew you were gonna end up. You just had to give it that time and patience. And it's hard for me to really explain that in the way that I want to um, fully, but I'm gonna figure out a way. We're gonna get there. All right.
Black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by cops than white men.
They don't want us to succeed.
How much more do we have to take?
So I'm just gonna take it back like that. Anybody let me know if there's any kind of issues. If not, I'm gonna proceed. Looks like I had a little difficulties with the Bluetooth connecting to something that it shouldn't have been connected to. But I met someone that I've been wanting to meet for quite some time now, and another person that I really respect here in the community and what they do happened to be there as well, and it was just a really big treat to just have a really great discussion about Black people getting back to the land and just eating cleaner and being healthier, but also mentally, physically, spiritually, just understanding what food does for you, what good food does for you, especially when you're growing it yourself, or you know where it comes from and you know that it's made with love. It's really important to make connections with people that are already doing that. And as I've been talking about lately with Soulfire Farm and everything, and with Afros in Nature a few months back, you know, we're coming to that point, and there's a lot of people that kept saying, "You got to meet Hawa, you got to meet Hawa," and I'm like, okay, I will. When the time's right, it'll happen. And I guess today the time was right, and it happened. And I'm just blown away and grateful and thankful. I'm extremely impressed and just blown away to know that we have this right here in Lancaster for everyone's disposal, for everyone to soak this information in. I'm going to definitely take my time soaking this in, and I'm going to utilize the knowledge that I gained to do my part in helping to eliminate the problem, the issue of food deserts here in Lancaster City, and provide that further knowledge through the Leon Block to help people in other communities facing the same issues. It really is all about being community, helping one another, sharing the knowledge that you have. Just the amount of things that we discussed today were, oh my goodness, I wish I could have filmed the discussion, because you know I love like organic conversation, and boy was it. I mean, so it's funny how paths cross and like pass each other by, but you don't meet, but you hear about each other and things like that. One person there that I was speaking about, I marched with them last year during Black Lives Matter protests all around the county, and watch them blossom. Like they have their own organization called Lancaster Abolished. Her name's Ileana Germain, and they help run Lancaster Abolition Group for those who are local. They do really great work, and she also does, I forget what she called it, like she makes dinners, donation-based dinners from local produce that is donated as meals for impoverished or houseless communities here locally. And I've seen her stuff. The work that she does is phenomenal. I have to find links to provide for y'all. It's very important stuff. So that's one component, and she really wants to make. She's getting a restaurant together to be able to do this in a set place, not like a community kitchen, which I think she was doing prior to this. But meals they have are awesome, and it's clean stuff. You know, that's what I'm also getting at here, is keeping in mind the trend of that. And one thing that Ileana brought up actually was how, yes, it's okay to be a vegan or a vegetarian, but also make sure that if you're not going to eat meat, like I had stressed before, make sure that you're consuming the right vitamins in place of the meat that you no longer are consuming. But for me, preferably, I would like to have a diet that's a little bit of both, like some meat, mostly plants and legumes, vegetables. But we'll get into that. So we really had the conversation about what Ileana does, but then we also had a conversation going from there just to having sustainable, self-sustainable farming and gardens here in Lancaster City. And then we got into talking about Garden because Hawa actually has partnered with Garden. Well, actually, they did an episode on her podcast on her Facebook, which you can find as well. She interviewed him, and I watched a little bit of it. I will post links to that as well. It's just really great how different people are kind of doing the same thing or have like the same, in a sense, goal, and they're all different like pieces to bringing that goal closer together for everybody and attainable. And it's definitely attainable. It's definitely within arm's reach here in Lancaster County, especially because we have the resources. We really do. Speaking of Lancaster County and resources, Hawa and Lancaster Pharmacy know each other, and there's people that were coming in and out of this pop-up shop that she has here in Lancaster that I met her at. Ileana happens to be at. My buddy Ben Oakes was there. And a couple other people popped in that I hadn't had the chance to meet, but I heard some things about, and just sharing information and sharing ideas. And I think the ideas that we have surrounding this kind of stuff is really awesome, to know that other people are thinking the same thing and have the same type of ideas for our community is really great. It's really great to know that I'm not the only one thinking about this and wanting to do it. I know that I have people that can help me attain this goal. You know, I'm really excited for the things that are to come. So we had speaking of, anyway, I talked about quartz and how I've been mining quartz at the farm, not on purpose, but as I'm working, I'm finding all these pieces of quartz, like a lot of quartz, and so much so now that I'm literally just like giving it away to people. And one thing that Hawa had mentioned was about the abundance of quartz in the soil really does affect the character of what is grown in it, and gives Lancaster County grown things a certain distinct thing about it, if you will. It adds to the feeling, the understanding of Lancaster County grown things. Um, and we have to let that soak in, soak it all in and understand how special this land is before we settled here. The stolen land, the land that we took. All of our ancestors at this point, because we're a big melting pot, we all have to accept that. The fact that this land is stolen and we're living on it, we have to pay respects. But anyway, the courts definitely, I wonder if it was special to indigenous populations that were here prior, and what they thought of and knew about the courts here, because it's it's in great abundance here in Lancaster County. Anyway, we spoke on that, and just the physical properties of courts and the correlation between, like, courts and what it does for you, and food and what it does for you. We spoke a lot about food in general and the effects that it has on the body, whether it's like McDonald's or whether you're getting like a meal that you grew from your farm and are eating it. And I met another person that came in who has a garden on the other side of town that has leftover produce all the time. And Ileana was talking about how she's looking to connect with farmers and people that have gardens that are looking to give away their excess produce. And so this is what I'm talking about, is like making connections and networking and understanding that there are people that want to give away something that you need. We just need to connect the right people together. People need to be highlighted. People need to be made aware of that there are people out there that want to do certain things for you just because they see that it's beneficial to the world. It's just really crazy how things happen the way they're meant to happen, Grateful for connections that we're meant to be as soon as you feel it. And just the path that I'm on, not only spiritually, but making sure that I'm doing my part to commit to remaining someone that speaks truth to power, standing up for social injustice, civil rights, police brutality, racism, sexism, underserved and impoverished communities. Make sure I'm doing my part to make sure that we continue to push for equity and equality in this world. And one of the ways we can do that is by providing people with the proper fuel that they need to fill their souls and fill their light and fill up their own cup. And we're going to do that. We're going to get there. We're going to get there one piece at a time, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen because we're going to continue to make these connections and network. I mean, just today, like 5, 6 7 different groups of people doing different things, but kind of towards the same goal in a sense, and sharing just shared ideas and express them, and just cultivated and formed new ideas that I'm excited to see how they pan out in the direction that they go in. So just always understand that there's a process, right? And we just have to trust that process and understand that there's a higher rhythm that we're following, but we don't have to necessarily follow. We just have to be mindful, like trust, give grace, but still be mindful where you're headed, where you're going, what you're shedding, what you're keeping, what's in hindsight, what's before you, and how invested you are in the now. The now is important too. I think that, well, no, the now is the most important. The way we liberate. Some people have like that extra wisdom and love, compassion, strength, anger, whatever their excess is, it can be given to someone else in a sense, as long as it's intentionally pure and meant for that person to soak up the way that they need it. I'm not saying people projecting their feelings on the people just all willy-nilly now, no. But I just feel so full today. Feeling like I'm starting to meet my people, my tribe, and me and my tribe are going to do some really great things in this world. The more that we connect, network, express, not bottle things in, the more we do that shadow work, the more that we get in touch with our roots, work on our inner child, speak to our inner child, get back to the earth, the more we do grounding, the more that we dissect and understand why we are the way we are, why something is the way we is, the more that we question things, the more answers will be welcomed to us, the more that we can overcome the issues that we're facing today, the more that we try to do it together, the more that we understand that we can do it together. Remember, community is the key. Networking, communication, community is the key to our growth.